justice.
They don't have those other things which I cannot mention on our show. They don't have the courage.
Yeah.
They don't have the conviction. They are not in parliament because they believe in anything. They are in parliament because when you go to parliament, you look powerful. There is glory and there is money. So over 90-something% of MPs have no idea why they are in parliament. If you ask them, if you stop an MP, why are you in parliament? They have no idea. So you cannot depend on people like that to shake the executive. The Supreme Court must punish those who mess elections. They should stop hiding some laws and running away from responsibility. They cite this and the other to leave criminals, crooks free after they have messed elections. I said no. Return the decision of who is the president to the people, not the Supreme Court. How? Make it painful for those who mess elections. The Supreme Court has original jurisdiction.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payments, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesongroup.com today. Whiteson Group, simple, reliable, delivered.
It's Katiba at 15. I'm here with Prof. Manyora, going to talk about what is happening in the country, looking at how the constitution has been implemented. Prof, great to see you. How are you doing today?
Great.
When you look at our constitution, 2010 constitution, how would you comment about its implementation? Because the question that we're having in the country is that this is a great constitution, but it hasn't been implemented as we thought it would be. What is your comment specifically on how Uhuru regime and Ruto regime have implemented the constitution?
When you say it's a great constitution, but the challenge is with the implementation, then to me that's a contradiction. The greatness should be found in its implementability, if there's such an English word. In other words, if you come up with a good constitution and it's not possible that you could implement that constitution, then there wasn't sufficient thinking that went into that constitution. So it cannot be great. A constitution cannot be great on the one hand, and on the other hand you say it's difficult to implement.
When you talk about Bill of Rights, you talk about integrity.
Those are things that were just thrown in that document. I've never hidden the fact that I never voted yes. I didn't see this as a constitution. It was a great moment which we misused. We had a chance to come up with a constitution. We didn't. It's just a hodgepodge, things in which we throw Bill of Rights, borrowed from America, South Africa, where you... So those who say this constitution is beautiful, they celebrate the Bill of Rights in a country of 50 million people, where more than 40 million people cannot access even 100 shillings easily. Those rights are not for those people. The rights these people want is what Moi said, chakula kwa tumbo, kazi kwa watoto, kazi kwa vijana, masomo kwa watoto.
All these other things.
Afya. No, that is what Kenyans need now. We cannot celebrate rights in the air there.
Where's the weak link when it comes to implementation? Is it the constitution itself?
It is the architecture of the constitution, the way it was designed. The biggest mistake we made with this constitution is to place our hopes on an individual, that there's going to be a president with sufficient goodwill for us to implement this constitution. There are many people who thought Raila was going to be the president. And because he was the guy who had been fighting for the constitution, they knew it would be implemented. That's mistake number one. I think it's the biggest mistake. Because it's true, if Raila had won the election in 2013, the journey would have been different. Today, 15 years later, we will be talking a different story.
What is it specifically different that Raila would have done that Uhuru did not do? And I can add a Raila, what did Uhuru do to mess up the implementation of the Constitution?
You see, I have told you the goodwill from the president was required, is still required to implement the Constitution. The screws were not tight enough for the Constitution to implement itself, to be self-implementing. You see, right from the word go, there have been issues. Let me give you an example. Look at the police, National Police Service. What we thought was in the Constitution is not what is happening. You see, it goes down to the president doing it. We give Parliament not just independence, but I think more power than any other arm of government. Is Parliament independent? They are still operating at the whims of the president. And we knew it would be like that. So those men and women who sat there didn't have the, I don't want to say they didn't have the brains. Let me say they didn't have what it takes to see that and deal with it. There should have been a way of dealing with it. We created the judiciary as not created, it was another arm of government that's independent. We created the Supreme Court. We thought it would do certain things. Is it doing those things?
Talk to me specifically about
so
the
it is about great thinking going into the making of our Constitution. Look at the American Constitution. Those men, I think they were all men, I think.
Yeah.
Old men and so on and so forth. They were not very educated men, but they could see 200 years ahead.
Okay.
They knew where they were coming from. Our Constitution has a one basic problem. We were running away from our past. We are reactionary. We were looking at what Kenyatta and Moi had done to this country, and we are trying to react to that. So I don't think this Constitution can work the way it is.
So when you say goodwill, do you mean the goodwill of the president to let independent bodies operate?
Yes, for example. Yeah, for example.
Talk to me about then the judicial.
Like you see, we foresee in the Constitution, we don't have the opposition in Parliament in the Constitution. You know that, eh?
Yes.
So we have the minority side
And the majority.
and the majority side. Both are supposed to work together to check the executive, okay?
Yes.
And to make laws. But do they work like that? No. So it's not easy to use. This Constitution can't work. It's just a document there celebrated by many.
Yes.
But when I ask them, what are you celebrating?
The drafters have also gone to other countries to help them with the Constitution.
I don't understand what these drafters were doing and what we think is great about this document. I don't see anything in this document. Because look, a document that doesn't protect the poor, the weak. You see? There are certain things built in the American Constitution, some of them buttressed by amendments. For example, this is the 7th Amendment. Congress shall make no law to abridge the freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Wanafunga, wale wamefunga. So we needed to close some places. We left things hanging. And the compromises we made in Naivasha. So it comes back down to what I've been saying. Kenyans will need to sit down and have a national conversation and come out with a national charter. That will be the Constitution that will deliver this country, not this one. Unfortunately,
Yes.
if we are not careful, it will come after war. Most constitutions are usually become necessary after crisis. Like when the people fight and do things to themselves, destroy things, then they sit down, then they come up with a constitution. A peacetime constitution can be very difficult.
Where's the weak link in the judiciary too? Let me just ask, how has the judiciary made efforts in making sure that the Constitution has been well implemented? would you say it has failed, or would you say that we are heading there?
You know, all of us, without exception, the judiciary included, are captive to our past, of our past. We come from a past where before a judge said anything, they looked behind. What is the government saying? What could Moi be saying? What is Kenyatta saying? We have not made a departure from that. The judges still don't have the necessary independence to make a decision without looking behind. I see it, I work at the university. All decisions made at the university, University of Nairobi, with Dr. Josephat Njuguna Karanja, the first Vice Chancellor African, actually the first Vice Chancellor, before then it was in the university, and all others who came after him. You needed to know what State House is saying, what Jogo is saying. Today, there isn't a Vice Chancellor at the University of Nairobi I have seen who has the courage to run the university without caring what is Jogo saying. So all the minister will need to do is to make a small telephone call, and everybody there is shaking. So that past, that captivity is impeding the judiciary even now. So there are few independent judges, but the environment is also such that it's not very easy for a judge to be independent. They know it. It's compounded by, again, something that ails the whole country, corruption. When you blend that fear plus corruption, what you have is a mess.
So
why lie to ourselves?
So we have judges who receive corruption cases and they themselves are corrupt.
And it's not judges, it's all of us. That's what I'm saying. We need to reset the clock. This country requires a reset.
You've said something interesting.
Because there's nobody, even if you put an angel in State House, they will not deliver. The environment, the ecology, the environment, the context in which Kenya as it is today, these guys can't work unless you have a benevolent dictator.
That, which now will go back to the goodwill.
Yes.
If you say benevolent dictator, we go back to the goodwill of the leader.
Yes.
Is this the case that we are at a point where we cannot just have a textbook constitution and Kenyans follow?
The man must be good enough for the woman to allow certain things to take place. But even then, up to a point, because the so-called rights, again, that you have put in your constitution,
Yes.
even if you do good things, there are many people who still go to court. And you may be stopped. You have seen government being stopped, even sometimes in a very outrageous ways. They are stopped.
Yes.
So, it is a mess. This is a mess. You cannot work in this mess. The judiciary cannot operate in this mess. Parliament cannot operate in this mess. State House cannot operate in this mess. Kenyans will have to accept that there is need for people to sit down and figure out how do we find the roadmap, which we have lost for 62 years. Where is the roadmap? Why is Kenya not a big, serious country? Ask yourself, why are our children having jiggers in their toes in the 21st century, a country like Kenya? Are we going to manage this jobless population? Can you have a country where every 7 out of 10 young men working in Nairobi don't have a job? How safe are we going to be? How safe are the 3? How safe are we in Nairobi in another 5 years? And I'm telling Kenyans, this town you will not walk. In another 5-10 years, you will not walk in Nairobi. Because only 1 out of 10 or 2 will have something useful like a job or some income. The rest will have nothing. And they will be young and they will be educated.
Now that we are where
a country like that, it requires a reset.
Now that we are where we are with the current president, of course, we all said supreme power is vested with the people. They can exercise it directly or indirectly.
We the people, somebody say.
We the people.
Yes.
And then you ask, the president has actually proclaimed Katiba Day, 27th,
Yeah.
says it's not a holiday, but it's Katiba Day. We come, and people are saying he has violated it, he has defiled it in every measure of word to describe what the president has done. What should he do? Because you've said now we only need a benevolent dictator for us to implement the constitution. What do you think the president can do for us to have this kind of reset?
The president can do one thing to this country. Make it possible for us to sit down in a national convention. Raila calls it what? A conclave. Yeah. It's difficult. It's not possible. It has rarely happened. That during peace, people can come up with a constitution. It rarely happens. People fight. People have issues, crisis after crisis. Then they agree to sit down and come up with a constitution. But during peacetime, it requires high-level statesmanship from those in power, from those in leadership, both in the opposition and in government. So the president can provide leadership in that direction. He's lucky because Raila is working with him. They can bring on board other people and say, look here, it doesn't matter how 2027 will look like. But can we have a reset for the country? Can we sit down as people in peacetime, which rarely happens, and agree that we are not going in the right direction? We have lost the roadmap. Can we look for it?
Before I go back to we the people, they can exercise it indirectly now. We have our parliament, which is to oversight and legislate. Now that they are having this beef with the president on corruption, do you think there's something they can do, our MPs, both in National Assembly and Senate, to ensure that we tie in those screws before we go to a place of crisis?
They don't have those other things which I cannot mention on our show. They don't have the courage.
Yeah.
They don't have the conviction. They are not in parliament because they believe in anything. They are in parliament because when you go to parliament, you look powerful. There is glory and there is money. So over 90-something% of MPs have no idea why they are in parliament. If you ask them, if you stopped an MP, why are you in parliament? They have no idea. So you cannot depend on people like that to shake the executive.
I'll still ask you about with the people, but the judiciary, when Maraga nullified elections, everyone was saying now this is the constitution being implemented.
Yes, yes.
We are seeing what we envisioned
Yes.
in 2010.
Yes.
What do you think Martha Koome can do now inside the judiciary so that we try to try in those screws?
You know, even the celebrated nullification of the elections, I looked at it and I was not as excited as everybody.
It was a landmark ruling.
No, it wasn't. It was a joke. You see, and I did a clip that got a lot of views, hundreds of thousands, I think. And I said, the judiciary must do one thing, the Supreme Court. The judiciary must let Kenyans elect their president. And look for that clip, one of my videos. What was I saying? I was saying, if every time we have an election, people go to the Supreme Court, then we are removing power of electing the people from the people to the Supreme Court. And that must be brought to an end. How do you do it? I said, the Supreme Court must punish those who mess elections. They should stop hiding some laws and what? Running away from responsibility. They cite this and the other to leave criminals, crooks, free after they have missed election. I said, no. Return the decision of who is the president to the people, not the Supreme Court. How? Make it painful for those who miss elections. The Supreme Court has original jurisdiction.
Isn't that the role of
They should not,
Parliament to legislate and come up with laws?
No, the Supreme Court should not hide in those things. They should just come out clearly and make it painful for anybody who messes elections. That way, we will not see people going to the Supreme Court. people will elect the president, and the president will serve for 5 years. As it were, it is the Supreme Court who is electing the president, not the people. So the Supreme Court must return the decision of who is the president to the people by making it painful for anybody who misses the election.
Explain to me as a 6-year-old, when you say the Supreme Court is making the decision,
yes,
does this mean if you fail to nullify, that means you're the person who was elected?
You see, if you beat me and I went to the Supreme Court, but you have beaten me, the Supreme Court can say it is me.
So they have decided
you beat me.
Yes.
Eh?
Now you're explaining well now.
You have beaten me.
Yes.
Then I go to the Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court gives it to me. Is it the people who have elected me?
No.
The people elected you.
Yes.
But the Supreme Court is saying it is me. Now who has elected the president? It's the Supreme Court.
So we're in that.
We must move away from there.
Come on. Are we, that means we are there actually.
Yes, that's where we are. Is it who becomes president is who the Supreme Court has said is the president.
But don't you think the Supreme Court looks at the arguments from both sides, looks at...
happy, nothing. From 2013, there have been issues. Mutunga refused to look at documents. And the Constitution itself was saying, do not look at procedural issues. Don't sacrifice substance on the altar of procedure. He did that. He said, what? So all these Supreme Court decisions, people have issues with them, all of them, including the nullification of the Uhuru election. Look here, if Maraga had punished those who had missed the election, number one, we would be on the right path. Number two, the Maraga court developed cold feet as we are moving to the what do you call it? Rerun. They developed cold feet. In fact, judges could not appear in court and they were stopped by people.
Yeah.
Then you still call yourself a Chief Justice. See, I stop. See, I say, okay, if this is where the country has reached, then I'm not part of it. These judges must come and we have an election. The police must escort the judges to court tomorrow for this decision to be made.
So all this is...
So, let's not lie to ourselves.
And we are also looking at the Constitution still when it comes to elections.
Yes.
But then we had the Building Bridges initiative.
Yes.
It's supposed to unify the country.
Yes.
It's supposed to look at electoral issues. There was the issue of judges. There's the ombudsman. All these things were there. Because we wanted a better constitution. Yes. Why did it fail?
To me, BBI was, one of the best attempts we have made at addressing our problems. It was just a step or two behind what I have in mind when I talk about a national convention. When Uhuru met Raila in that surprise meeting of 9th of March, I think, when they upon steps of Arambe House,
yes.
And then they issued something, they call it communique or whatever they call
it.
I read it 4 times. And I saw these 2 guys were serious. They touched the problem of this country. Walishika hivi. And that's why I supported BBI. There were issues with how they did it, including the people they put together to do it. As usual, looking for weak people. They needed very serious Kenyans. They put their bad Kenyans. The process safe. They did not insulate the process from attack. And I said it from the word go. They did not insulate it. And the judiciary did not help matters. They made weird decisions. I look at the decisions. The most weird. In fact, had the Supreme Court not come in to save us, we would never have amended our constitution in future. Because the High Court and the Court of Appeal agreed that you could not amend the constitution.
Yes.
That's what they were telling Kenyans. The Supreme Court came in. I salute the Supreme Court on that issue. Was it Martha Koome or was it somebody? I don't know.
It was Martha Koome.
Martha Koome, I think. Maraga?
Marag.
I don't know. We don't know. One of those.
Yes, one of those.
One of those guys.
Yes.
They came in handy, the Supreme Court, and they relaxed. But the way Kina Justice Ngugi from down there, and the Riaga or whatever they call, not Riaga, Kiaga, whatever, in the Court of Appeal, the way they put it, that there is a part of the constitution you can't touch. When the constitution itself says you can even demolish this country. If the constitution says you can demolish the country,
You can change the boundaries.
you can change the
Don't say
boundaries.
demolish.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can
Don't say demolish. Okay.
yeah. If the constitution says you can even change the boundaries, you can even throw away the constitution. You know?
Then there's
So what else is it you can't change? So when I hear judges foaming at the mouth, trying to say there's something you can't, and so-called be, what were they calling it?
the clause-
Basic structure.
basic doctrine, basic structure.
But borrowing so poorly from India and Germany, so poorly. I debated this thing on TV with lawyers and people. I just said this is a joke. Yeah.
Come back to the people now, because all supreme power, as we said,
Belong to the people.
belongs to the people. What should the people do now? Because we have these questions. This is not just questions on this set.
Yes.
These are questions everywhere in the streets.
Yes.
Why are we this wrong as a country? Why can't we fix basic issues as simple as corruption? We'll talk about Duale in our next conversation in Sha. But there are things that you can see that can be fixed. Why can't we fix them? Yet we have a constitution. Yet we have learned people in parliament. These guys that are in Senate and parliament, they are lawyers. They formed this thing.
But
Okay, right?
But they have no conviction and they are cowards.
So what should the people do?
You see, the people may appear helpless, but the people are doing a lot even now. The people through their children are making noise. The Gen Zs made noise. After that, things are not necessarily the same. Something has changed here and there because of the Gen Z revolution. The people through their children in the media are talking and pointing out things. People may not be as daring as they have been in their theft as they have been in the past. People still steal, but they take a little care as they steal. So the people are already doing something by pointing out, by making noise, by demonstrating, by doing all the things. That's what the people are doing. The people can do more. The people can elect better leaders.
Okay. Oh.
And we hope they are getting there. The people will come round to electing proper leaders when they realize tribe is a joke. There is pride in saying Mudavadi is the president of Maluya, bragging rights.
Yeah.
But so, after that, so what? Moi, 24 years. Look at Baringo. People are still killing each other as if they're in the 17th century. Amani Wongo. When there's famine, you see people eating all manner of things. Some of them we can't mention here. Amani Wongo. Kenyatta was president for how many years? 15.
Yeah.
The son? 10. 25. There are still jiggers in Gatundu.
Kibaki
Let somebody come here and challenge me. Sikuja unichukue na gari twende. Nikuonesha angalia hii. This is
true.
the slums in Thika, Giatutu, whatever. A place for Ndutus, Kiandutu,
Yes.
where jiggers are.
Yeah.
And forget about the urban, even within local. Sometimes back I went to Kairi, a place called Kairi. I couldn't believe I was in Kenya. Those days, about 1980s or 90s, after Jomo Kenyatta had been president for 15 years. And there were things that were in other places that were not there. And I'm saying, you saw a star. Is it a celebrity? Is it a beauty something? What do you call this word? Miss World. So one of these people came on a mission to eradicate jiggers. And the senator put her in a helicopter to go and tend to anti-jigger campaign in Nyeri. I said, God, what is this country? Where is this country?
Yeah.
That is the Kenya I'm talking about. A combined Kenyatta and his son, 25 years in power, and there are still jiggers there. Moi, 24 years in power. Baringo is one of the hardship areas in this country, where things that are happening you can't believe. Where you can find in North Rift, bandits can make life difficult. Schools close, all of them, everybody goes home. They are deserted schools. So
Why elect based on tribe?
why are you electing somebody because it's your tribe? Ruto will do his 5 years or 10 years. Nothing much will change in Kalenjin land because Ruto is the president. My Mudavadi will take over if he is going to take over in 2037.
You still wish.
2037
You
or
still wish.
2032. Mudavadi. I think it looks like Mudavadi will take over 2042
Yeah.
up to 2052.
57.
We shall still be the same poor lawyers, supplying cooks and watchmen to Nairobi. So, what am I to say? Don't elect your MCA because he's from your clan. No. Don't elect a governor because he comes from your tribe or your sub-tribe. So, the people, yes, can do a lot. However, if the leadership makes it completely impossible for change to come and people are handicapped for whatever reason, change will come in a painful way.
Finally, how do we exercise power directly? For those who think they can make Ruto not just one term, but 3-year president, is there a way to exercise power directly in the constitution, and how would you want it to be so that if we have a leader that Kenyans do not want, they can remove him not through parliament if parliament is weakened? Is there a way Kenyans can exercise power directly if you are to advise changes or amendments in the constitution?
You know, those provisions have been put in the constitution. I don't know whether those who put those provisions in the constitution knew what they were doing. Because it's a very risky undertaking that people can take over themselves. It has happened across the world, including when you are just your age like this. You have seen these things happen.
Yes.
You've seen people going to the presidential palace, wanaingia swimming pool, wanakula chakula, si ndio?
Yes.
You've seen Sudan, you've seen where, you've seen Indonesia, you've seen all these countries. So what? So what came out of it? You saw Egypt, Tahrir Square and what have you. And
Sudan.
yeah, the Arab Springs. It doesn't go to the next stage. I think that's what Raila was trying to say. I think the provision there is a last resort when things can't hold anymore. It's not something you just wake up and say, the people shall directly, let us do it directly.
Yes.
It's not easy. It can bring more chaos. However, when the leaders push people in that direction, the recourse is now that provision. In other words, if there wasn't a government, there's so much mess. We've seen president escaping their countries,
Yes.
some by helicopter.
Yes.
Ceausescu alijifika mahali lakini akapatikana. Unfortunately akakuwa executed.
Yes.
Is it Argentina or where? I think I can't remember. Mtu anaingia helicopter State House and apart from the panaenda.
Yes.
Stretch, and then some groups try to take over and there is mess. I think that is, you can have a recourse to that provision as you organize yourselves to have a constitutional order. But I doubt anybody who put that provision in the constitution meant that the people can wake up one day and say, we the people.
Occupy.
No, I doubt. So, yeah, it can be more messy. Because we have examples.
We do.
Yeah, it just shows you have the power. I would rather we use that power by being courageous. When, for example, MPs are making a total mess of themselves and we are unable to recall them, we can go to parliament, 1 million people, and tell them enough is enough. Shaigana, I think.
Shaigana.
Enough is
enough. And
then we go back home. Then tell them before we leave, you have seen, when we come back, when we come back, can you please do the right thing?
We have talked to you nicely.
So, and this should be cascaded. This should be in many other areas. You find a principal is messing a school. I'm sorry to give these examples because I'm a teacher. Until the school is completely gone. An institution goes down and people are just watching. Parents should have the courage to go to school, all of them, and tell the principal enough is enough. That is, so we don't tip over. We don't tip over, because when you tip over with the people, then you may create anarchy.
Which obviously.
And nobody will benefit from anarchy.
Thanks for doing that conversation about our constitution. What can be done better? Now that we are dependent on the goodwill of those in power, why don't you just do the right thing? Goodbye for now.